A huge Falcons fan, man.
Speaking of being a huge Tropic fan, so now you're starting to look like a boxer a little bit with your striking these days.
You know, it's nice to be healthy, man. You know, I have Jason Perillo has been working with me. Mike Giovanni was getting me in shape. You know, Ricardo Abreu was my jiu-jitsu, but you know, my boxing skills is something I really want to focus on. Be able to knock some people out. You know, I was able to hit Bader with a good right. What we call it, Jason? A hooker cut? Yeah, hooker cut. We hit him with the hooker cut. And but it just feels good to be healthy, man. People don't understand, you know, I've been through the last 5-6 years, actually, since I lost Couture, back problems, you know. After I got the Ultimate Fighter, I had a neck problem, I had to get surgery. Coming off, you know, 2-level fusion, L4-5, S1 fused, C6, C7 on my neck fused, and being healthy now, whew, I feel sorry for these light heavyweights, man. It feels good to punch, feels good to wrestle, feels good to jiu-jitsu. Run, you know, weight train, do everything and be at the level that I want to be.
When you were, you know, back as a let's say as a champion, you know, you didn't have this aspect of your game that you have now. You're showing, you know, hands that you didn't have before. Can you go back and say, if I had this back then, what you would have done?
All of us can say if we had this back then, what we could have done. You know, it's just one of those things. It's a learning process. You got to learn. You know, you got to put in the hard work and dedicate yourself to the job. My job is fighting, so I'm gonna learn how to punch people and knock them out. Working with Jason, like I said, he gives me confidence in my hands, makes me fast, makes me move in angles that I've never seen before. At the same time, having my body and my mind in the right place, it really comes down to it. You know, Mike Giovanni, who I brought in my training, he really helps with my mental focus of it. You know, being very positive. I don't think I've ever said a negative thing. I think from 2 months before the Bader fight, I've been so damn positive in everything I do, and I think an outlook in life, if all of us can be positive and get the most out of life.
What does having the striking now do for your wrestling?
You know, it's making guys want to try to take me down, as Rashad will. Rashad will try to take me down. I got to defend the shot. I'm going to punch him in his face. You know, he says he's going to stand up and strike with me, that I have no business being in the same octagon as him. Hype to fight as much as you want. On Saturday night, we're going to show what I'm about.
When you offered you the fight with Rashad, did you have any sort of flashbacks or remembrances of UFC 73 fight that came to mind?
All besides he was weak. He felt really weak. He didn't feel like a light heavyweight. You know, the fight with guys like Liddell and Couture, who were so damn strong, had matched my strength. He felt like a 185 pounder. Rashad didn't feel that strong. So I don't know. Let's see if he's got any stronger. You know, I watched the countdown on Monday night, I think it was, on Spike, and he looked the same guy, like exactly the same guy. I see a lot of doubt in his mind. There's a lot of negativity in his mind. So I don't know. On Saturday night, I'm gonna show my best and get my hand raised.
You look leaner than you have in a long time. Is that by design, or?
No, it's actually just I'm in good shape. You know, I had no problems in camp. I was able to press myself every single round as hard as I can. You know, Mike Giovanni, my strength conditioning guy, he really just kind of just gets my mental focus of just pushing myself every single round. When I have a little bit of relaxing during a minute, he's like, bullshit, come on, press yourself. And I'm able to do that now, being healthy. So I'm very thankful.
Obviously, there was some hesitation at first taking this fight such short notice. Now that you've been through the camp, how do you feel about taking it, and where's your mental state right now?
I'm positive, man. I'm really good place right now. I'm thankful I did it. You know, the only thing that had me a question of doubt of taking the fight was I want to take care of my family and home. I want to take care of my business, Punishment Athletics. Of course, my gym, Punishment Training Center. My nutrition line, Punishment Nutrition. I want to take care of that business side of it and my family side of it, but I kind of put it on hold. You know, I told Jenna, my girl, to, you know, hold the family tight. Let's just get this next 3 weeks. I got 2.5 weeks of camp into it, and I'm glad I did it. I'm in great shape, no injuries, and I'm very thankful to get through the camp and be as focused as I am.
How about the level of excitement? Obviously, knowing what's on the line here, it was such a different stakes going into this than there was last time.
I don't think about that. So you're the first person that said that. I don't think about it. I'm coming in. I'm going to fight. I want to get my world title on my waist. And you know, Rashad's just a guy in front of me that I got to stop. I got to stop. I got to win. I got to get my hand raised. And I don't think about getting a title shot. I don't think about anything like that. That'll be after this fight. Right now, it's just about focusing and getting my hand raised. There's no title on the line, but at the same time, this is for a title shot for both of us, I think. But I really just focus mindset, being positive, and reinforcement, everything I know that is behind me, and that's a strong fighter.
Has UFC told you?
No. Dana said that I'll be the top 3 after this, but I'm not thinking about that, man. that's like believing in odds, man. You're gonna believe in odds and give someone a 6-1 underdog, and all of a sudden he knocks a guy out in a minute, or chokes a guy out in a minute 56 seconds. That's the future. You never know what holds in front of me. Right now, it's all about Saturday night, August 6th, to get my hand raised.
How's your car?
My car's in the shop. Shit.
How much did that cost you?
It didn't cost me nothing. Thank God for fireman's insurance. So I'm very thankful. Of course, fireman's insurance. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have a beautiful car the way I do. But I'm thankful, man. No one was injured. That was the number one thing. I had my son in the car, Jacob. Don't text and drive. I made a mistake, just kind of looking down, and someone said something to me, and I went down to go look at it, and bam, I hit the car, probably going about 25. My son was okay, I was okay, the guy in front of me was okay, my car wasn't okay. You wreck a Phantom, and I mean, like I say, it's my dream car, man. I've worked my ass off for 14 years to get that car, and when it happened, I got home, I kind of cried a little bit, and yeah, I am a man, and I do cry, but I was pissed because I have so much love into the car. It's my dream car.
How much did you pay for the car when you got it?
When I got it, it was $400,000. It's worth about $3 right now, but like I say, I'm keeping the car. I'm gonna give it down to my children. That's one car I'm not trading in. It's my car. That's my dream car. When I roll in that car, it's like I feel happy with myself, because from a kid who was on the streets, living in motels, cars, people's garages, with the parents who were drug addicts, to succeed and be successful while I'm in this life. I'm living the American dream. So when I sit in that car, I'm like, hard work does pay off.
What year is the car? 2006.
How strange is it?
Yeah, I bought it brand new.
How strange is it to you that your life has gotten to a point where you have a car accident and it's in the gossip column in 20 minutes?
That's just the beginning, man. When I became world champion, I knew that I was destined for great things, man. I just I got to work hard. I got to believe in myself. My camp that's around me that's pushed me to this level. I just got to believe in myself. God put us on this earth for only a certain amount of time, and let's take advantage of it. As humans, and I'm taking advantage of it. Every day I work. If it's not in my gym, it's in my business. If it's not in my business, it's in my family. I just try to work as hard as possible I can and be the most of this life, to showing people that you could become anything you want to, as long as you believe in it.
You seem filled with confidence now, coming off the win. Was there ever any point, though, over the last couple of years where you had some doubt that you can come back and get to this level?
I think I was reading too much of the negativity. The negativity from Dana, the negativity from the fans, and I started believing them. Why? I don't need to believe that, man. I started switching around. I got a new camp with me, and the guys were just so damn positive, and I was like, you know what? I fulfill myself with such negativity. Why? Let's do positive and see what I get out of it. And then it just one thing after another, man. Like I say, I've been here now for 3 days, 2 days, and everything's been perfect. The flight's been perfect. Everything has just been to a peaking point. And the same thing, I had the same effect when I was in Vegas. Everything was so positive. It just, from driving into Vegas, the weigh-ins, everything was so perfect. There was no hiccups, nothing at all. And I think that's what it is, just staying mentally positive and working forward. And forget about what people say about what you should be or who you're not. And I know who I am, man. I'm a former world champion. No other light heavyweight's ever defended their world titles longer than I have, as many times as I have. And it's just one of those things, man. In my mind, I know I'm one of the greatest. Maybe other people don't think that, but in my mind, I know I'm one of the greatest. I've done so much in this business of MMA and business-wise, in promotion, in fighting, everything, man. And as you say, people pay attention to just my fight or my crash. Well, I guess I'm just that big of a celebrity in this sport, man. It's just the hard work that I put into it, and I expect out of it because I put so much into it.
I know your health was the big issue, but do you think that you cost yourself a little bit by focusing on the feud with Dana so much, as opposed to you were distracted from what the goal was in the past?
I believe so. My problem is I stay small to keep it all. I don't have no management. I do everything myself, and the negotiations me and Dana go back and forth. They're very heartbroken because of we came here when none of us were anybody, and I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting for myself. When it comes to the fight game inside the cage, I'm fighting for my fans. And when it's business-wise, I'm a businessman. I understand it. I understand what a contract's about. I understand the loopholes and the ins and outs of contracts because I've been doing it for so long. And maybe that was kind of the hard things that came between me and Dana. There's a lot of people in my ears telling me what I deserve, what I should get, and I think I should have respected them, Dana and Lorenzo, a little more of trusting them. And when you're a kid who's hustled his whole life and has really got to where I am today by the hustle, you kind of don't trust many people. My whole life, I didn't trust my parents. I didn't trust many people at all. And just one of those things, you got to build trust, and I've got that, and I think the respect value is there again. So I'm just trying to slowly but surely build that bridge across between me and Zuffa, Dana, and Lorenzo, and get back in the shoes where I used to be, because I miss them, man. I miss Dana, I miss Lorenzo, hanging out with them and having a good time. I got love for them, man, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
You said earlier that you sensed some negativity and doubt from Rashad. What is it about? What have you seen that makes you think think that?
You know, I think the first question is he's not with Jackson's camp, and he has a lot of hatred towards that. And you watch, like I said, the Countdown show on Spike, and you see him, he's saying, oh, the hell with Johnny Bones Jones, just saying negative stuff, and he fulfills himself. And I don't know, he's a psychology major, so I don't know, I think he's doing a little self-doubt himself. And I just read into it, man. Watch the way he presents himself when he comes in and does his training, and you guys will see. I see it. I mean, I did psychology 101 in college, and I understand a person's feedback and how they react to questions and how they react to things, and you guys will see.
4 years between fights, you know, what's the biggest changes he's made since then? What's the biggest changes that you've made since then?
Biggest changes he's made since then is, you know, his wrestling skills, of course. You know, his level change has been great. I've been watching it over and over again. You know, myself is being healthy. You know, not having any more back problems. You know, not having the injuries that, you know, it's kind of funny because for once I was home for this camp. Actually, second time. Bader fight, I was at home for my camp. Usually I go up to Big Bear, and training is so damn hard. I mean, just getting in out of bed, I remember just moaning and groaning, going, oh my God, what am I doing? Now it's like I have no problems. You know, Jenna, she's like, I would hear you at night going, like moaning and groaning when you just move. And he goes, now you don't have that problem anymore. Well, injury free. I don't have that back problem. If anybody's ever had back surgery before, can you imagine training and doing it, and at the same time getting in the cage and fighting? I mean, I put in, you know, 9 weeks for a camp and able to do it. It's one of those things that I'm thankful. Dr. William Smith, the surgeon who did my surgery, I'm very thankful for what he's done, because I'm back in the cage and fighting at 100%.
Can you explain what happened? I think it was 69 in Houston, where you and Rashad even shoved each other and stuff. And that seemed like it, you know, went from a fight to made it into a feud almost. And I don't remember really what happened at that point. Do you?
You know, before I was being respectful towards Rashad, I didn't say much about him. Then all of a sudden he opened his mouth and suppressed, you know, just saying some very rude things, very disrespectful things to him. And I just stepped to his face and I said, you know what, watch what you say about me, man. I paved the way for you guys to come up in UFC, so watch what you say to me. And he's like, oh, I don't give a shit what you say. And he started trying to punk me. And I got a little angry, and I shoved him. I feel like I was shoving a girl, and it was what it was, man. It built, and you know, like I say, for this fight, I don't need to talk shit about him. You know, my name will sell the fight. I'm just thankful to be competing at the level I am. I'm very, very thankful, and like I say, man, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to compete. And you know, whatever happened before, that was a long time ago. Now he's a different monster. You know, he said, you know, in it was an Unleashed show, or not Unleashed, but the hype for the fight, the countdown, that it felt like he had 3 gorillas on him. Well, shit, now he's gonna have 12 gorillas on him. It's gonna be a big, big difference. And I know he's gonna have his eyes open for sure.
Now, speaking of pioneers, Dan Henderson's a free agent. You think there should be a spot for him in UFC at 205? Or?
100%. You know, Henderson's done a lot in the sport, man. He's gone everywhere around the world, and once again, it's negotiation tactics, man. And what's going to happen with him? You know, he is 41 years old, and retire as the champion would be great. I would love to retire as the champ, but let's see what Zuffa has for him.
But do you think he would do well?
I think he would do well. Yeah, of course he would do well. That's Henderson. Are you kidding me? It's like Couture. When Couture was coming up, you know, he was 40 years old and he was competing and beating the best. You know, he beat me and won the world championship at 40 years old. And wrestlers, man, us wrestlers, we there's no quitting us, man. You know, we're nothing like boxers at all. You know, our speed is always there, our wrestling skills, and that's what MMA makes it so great to be about. You know, you have that, and it's a factor of going in and performing and giving fans what they want to see, and that's the best pay-per-views. Henderson could do that. You know, I've been doing it for so long. Couture did it for so long. Liddell did it for so long, and you see it now. I guess we're the last two standing.
Tito, where do you stand on Fedor, since we're talking about that, you know, Henderson fight? You know, some people have this, like, you know, he was this unbeatable guy, the greatest ever, and then other people have a different opinion. Where do you stand?
You know, Fedor, he's done great things in the sport. I don't think he's one of the greatest heavyweights in the world ever. You know, I think Pride did an awesome job marketing the guy to make him look untouchable. He came and he fought in the cage and he got destroyed. He fought against guys who weren't even contenders and got destroyed. You know, in Japan, there's a difference because they don't have drug tests. They don't do the thing at the level that UFC does. And if you're going to fight in UFC and Strikeforce, you're going to fight clean. And I'm not saying someone did anything or anything like that, but the proof is in the pudding, man. It shows how guys fight. And you look at all the other guys who came from Pride and came to UFC, they get stomped out.
At one point, I think you tried to cook up a fight with Fedor, didn't you?
Yeah, back when he came to Strikeforce, or excuse me, to Affliction, it almost did, and I'm thankful I didn't. You know, you gotta understand, it's negotiation tactics, man. No more than that. I understand business, and my heart's always been with the UFC. I mean, look at shit. I'm wearing a UFC shirt, man. I always wear punishment, and it's just one of those things. My heart's with the UFC, man. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
taking a fight on short notice. Bader was a wrestler, obviously, Rashad's a wrestler. Do you think foot speed's going to be the difference here?
Foot speed will be the difference, of course. You know, I got 2.5 weeks to prepare for this fight. I took a week off right after the fight, but one of those things, I'm ready. I'm in great shape, and I'm ready to fight. Has Rashad had a long enough layoff to really kind of slow him down? And I think so. I'm going to press this hard. I'm going to press him as hard as I possibly can and try to get the most out of this. You know, he thinks he's going to come in and just destroy me, and I hope he thinks like that, because all of a sudden, the first and second round, when I'm still in his face punching him, he's going to go, holy shit. Tito's stronger than he was last time. Tito's a lot faster than he was last time. He's a lot harder to take down than he was the first time. And like I say, it's one of those things, man. I just got to go up and show what I'm about, and that's fighting.
Do you think ring rust is a factor, especially with his camp issues and stuff like that?
Ring rust is always a factor, you know. Camp, when you change camps, it makes a big difference, because those guys don't know how to press you the hardest, like the right way. Maybe they press you too hard and you get too much overtrain. There's so many aspects of it, having a new camp, that it kind of changes things up. You know, when I worked with my guys, it was just, it fed into it because I wasn't overtraining. You know, the guys I had prior, I was overtraining them a little bit because I tried to get the most out of it. We were cramming so much in a short amount of time because of injuries. Well, now I don't have those injuries. Now we're able to spread the camp out through a long period of time and get the most out of it, and really peak to the right timing, and this weekend's the right timing.
Tito, this guy here has a question for you. Couldn't get here.
Thank you. I was wondering, how much does that draw, the only draw on your record or his record, how much does that motivate you?
It motivates me, but at the same time, I don't think about it. You know, it's been such a long time ago. You know, the fight kind of shows and tells the story of what really happened, and on Saturday night, the draw won't matter at all. When I get my hand raised, people will know that I won the first one.
Why has it taken 4 years to get the ring?
You know, I think it is taken, you know, you got to put the hands into Dana and the UFC. They make the calls, they make the cards, and injuries on my side, of course. I ended up getting surgery a couple times, and, you know, it all comes a factor. Everything happens for a reason in this world, and we'll see.
Are you going to retire after you win the title?
That would be nice. That would be nice to retire after winning the title. I'm not even thinking about retiring right now, though, man. I'm 36 years old. I just turned 36. Got to understand, Liddell reigned as champion for a while when he was 36 years old. Couture reigned as a champion for many years when he was 36 years old. I still see a reinvented Tito. I see someone who's healthy, someone who wants to compete, and I have the heart and mind to go in and fight and get my hand raised each and every time. So, you know, I have a guaranteed 2 more fights after this. If I'm the champion when I'm done, I don't know. I want to sign for some more fights. I want to still compete. I love competing. There's nothing like it to be in great shape, especially at 36.
When you fought him the last time, was he trash talking in the ring?
I wasn't trash talking in the ring because I think I surprised him by my strength, by my size, by my pressure, and I'm going to surprise him again.
When and why did you make the camp switch?
When I made the camp switch, actually in March of this year. Why? You know, Saul Solis, of course, my trainer, awesome guy, best friend. He's in Houston. He's doing his gym, Metro Fight Club, and I was up in Big Bear. You know, I was away from home. You know, I want to be with my family. I want to be with my boys. You know, I have a son who's 9 years old, Jacob, and I wasn't around him that much when he was growing up, just because of my fight career, being a world champion and stuff. And I want to focus on my family. You know, I want to make sure I'm there for them as they grow up. You know, my son Jesse and Journey, who I love more than anything. Of course, my girlfriend Jenna. You know, I love family, man. I've always died for family my whole life. I never had it, so once I have it now, it's like I want to secure it and make sure I embed it in my mind of being a protector and being there as a provider.
Did you have any fear about making the switch after working with Saul?
Did I have fear? No, because I worked with Jason actually before all my other fights. The 6 weeks before a fight, I worked with him all before, and the 6 weeks prior to a fight, I would leave him, and we would lose a lot of momentum. And this time, it was like I kept him, and that momentum stayed. You know, with my sparring, with everything.